Hello, my name is Daniel and this is a tutorial about Photoshop and 3ds Max in some sort. It is about editing images in Photoshop. This is called post work or post effect. So as you can see in front of me, we have an image, and that is a recent image I uploaded and shared on Facebook and on DeviantArt, and it is the plain and simple alpha image, as I call it, and it has no background. It's a PNG image with no background, so I rendered it like this in that. I mostly do not use real environments in that because probably it will take too long and my system is not strong enough to actually withstand that punishment. I have a GTX a 960 4GB version, and it is good for that rendering, but if I really want to go bananas, like rendering full scale 3D environments in high quality with iRay, I really need a stronger setup than I probably need 2 graphics card in SLI mode, or a 980 Ti, or even 1080 Ti. So anyway, I have what I have, and I mainly made my system for working with iClone 7 because I make more animations than I make images. So anyway, without further explaining, I will go and show you what I do to make this image look like it looks here right now. Image fading in. As you see, this is the image I shared, and now I'm going to show you how I did this. It probably won't show and be 100% the same like I did, because I cannot barely remember what I did, because I just go in like, oh, try this, try another, oh, try the other, and maybe something cool or something awful will show up. But I will show you my methods and how I managed to make the image look like that. First of all is the image itself, and we need a background. So I got this place here like in Ukrainian village now, looks post-apocalyptic, GPG. It's an image I found on Google, and it's not copyrighted because there's no copyright anything around here, so I can mainly use it as it looks like Fallout destruction or whatever. So this is the background I use. In order to get this over here, I just go ahead and copy it and paste it. It's in front of it, but to change that is easy. You just go here in the selection, in the layers menu, and just grab it with the mouse, make click, and then grab it and scroll it down here. And now my image is in front of it. Now if you want the layout to be changed, you just select the image and just drag it around you, and as you can see, you can change it and look at more right, more left, whatever you want and whatever you please. So in my way, this looks cool. So also you can make sure that the background image is more white, all images more white. So you select this tool over here, and just now you just have the background image selected, and now you can move this and add more image to the background like this. Once you accept this, it automatically cuts it. If you do this again, as you can see, there's no more cutting because you cut the background. And it is very important that you do that, because if you try to edit now with a filter and try to apply some effects on it, it's gonna apply the effect on the whole background image. So you should cut it and be happy with what you got. You're happy with this now, so what you can do is, for example, if you see you don't like the front, it's very faded or whatever, you can go to the adjustments and work a little bit on the brightness here, make it a little bit darker or wider. But usually I don't touch that unless I applied a filter and make sure that both filters, the filter make the background and the front image look equal. So what I do is select both images here on the layer, and then select merge layers here, and done. Now it's only one image. So now with this I work. Now let's start applying filters. We go to our filter, and what I use is, I have other tools here, but I do not use them recently. The tool I use mainly is the Nik Collection here, and as I found out lately now, because I paid for this, is that the filter, it is free now. You can download it for free. I have the link in the description below, and you can download it there and apply it. It's I say that it's I don't think it's a plugin or something, but it has an X, so you can install it and you can use it on the filters. And it has the Analog Effect Pro, the Color Effect, the Fine, the HDR, the Sharpness, Silver Effect Pro, and Viveza. Anyway, I'm gonna go through all of them and I'm gonna show you how they work and how they do what they do, and what they do, for example. So let's begin with the first, the Analog Effect. So the analog effect, that's what I actually used in this image. It makes this. So you have the basic one, it makes it look fade and old, and there's already a nice effect. Now you can here in the adjustments, for example, you can change the film tips, and you can change for warm, cold, subtle, and you select those here. As you can see, you have different effects you can apply. For example, I think I choose one of those here, or this one maybe, and then here I can select how strong do I want the effect to be applied. I can select the grain, if it wants to be more grain or less, or soft or hard. That is your choice. You have to learn and just play around and see how things turn out. For example, the dirt here, you can select this and apply more dirt. And also you can control how much and the strangers. Now more dirt is applied here, and just see it's more visible now in the picture, and it looks like a picture now. So this is the analog effect, as you can see, and now you have presets over here, and you can select different presets, and you can manipulate every one of those here and select the amount of this, the cycle. Anyway, this is up to you what you want to do, but as you can see, easily you can make look an image badass. For example, this now looks very cool by me. I mean, it's blue and it fits with her hair, and that it looks already very good. And so it's not so difficult. What the filter actually does, it is it helps you make an effect you already can do in Photoshop manually, but it makes it quicker for you. For example, this one is it's not a bad one. I mean, I like it. The lens vignette, the amount, whatever. Now this is the analog effect. Alright, now let's cancel this and let's go to the next one. We got the Color Effect Pro. This is the one I mostly use if I don't want to go put a fancy effect on it, because this one allows you to put many kinds of effects on an image and very much change it. So this you can see landscape or all, you got all effects now on hand and you can use them. Or you just go and say I have a nature picture, so I click on that and we got different effects we can apply on this, like Brilliant Swamp. We select this, and now the difference is slightly, but you can change the saturants, give it more color, put the warm up and down, the saturation up, down, whatever you want. If you don't like this effect, just click on square or X and delete it. So what I use most usually is the detail extractor. It's very useful if you want to result the image. It makes it a bit brighter, but it also shows more. Let me just quick zoom on this. Not on her breasts, on her face. Okay, let's be nice here. As you can see, if you apply the details, so the details are minimum. If you put them a little bit more up, the image gets brighter, but also the details are a little bit more shown. You can actually compensate this using the contrast. And now, as you can see, the details are very high. Let's get far away. and now it looks kind of painted, does it? And it results in details. If you want to make an image who looks more painted and more like this, well, the detail extractor is very useful. You can combine it. You just add the filter and go ahead and combine it with another effect. I use, for example, it's a shady image, this midnight effect, for example, and put the brightness up here. It looks more dark. The problem is it blurs the image as well, and I don't like that much. Then the midnight effect is very useful in many things, but not always. If you want to make a dark and gothic picture, then probably the midnight effect you should go with that. What I like to use in many ways is, for example, dark and light center acts like a bokeh effect. And you can change this to this one here, and then see it makes it darker around the image and keeps the light in the center. Also a very good effect. Okay, now another one. Let's, for example, use the detail extractor as I used it before. Get this up here and this a little bit like this, and put the contrast like this. Now we add a filter. I'll go to portrait, and we're gonna use the dynamic skin stuff. No, the classic soft focus. I like to use that one. It gives the image bright shining to it, as you can see, and you can change the types and then adjust them. As you can see, we already have a nice effect here, and the image looks good. This one makes it sharper and better. Yeah, because the soft focus takes the sharpness away. Also, it's already a nice effect. So, if you are just like, say, I want to quickly make a nice effect and upload it and share it, then we go directly to recipes here. Just erase those here, and we got presets as well here. We can select those, and it already has nice presets. You can actually manipulate them, because in every preset you got the effect here, and you can change them as you will or please. So, for example, this is a quick image with for example, an image borders. You have the image borders over here. If you don't like them, you can change the types. For example, the black one goes good with this one. For example, we select that one and we just, yeah, make stuff with it. Alright, this is the Color Effect Pro. As I say, if you make an editing in the picture, you should do various things in one. So let's go to the next one and explain this one. Now we got the define. I don't use that much because I simply do not need it. I mean, I'm gonna show it to you, but it doesn't look many different. It's supposed to be defining the picture, but really I don't know. I don't see much difference anyway. It has the automatic. You can reduce or you can add. I don't think what kind of difference does it. I mean, for example, let's just color noise. I don't know if it does too much. I mean, you can use brush and paint it manually, so you only define one section of it. But I do not use much this kind of effect because I don't feel the need of using it. But I did show you how to use it a little bit. Anyway, let's move on to the ones I mostly use. So the HDR, this one is an interesting one. The HDR, it's finicky. You have to really know what you're doing, because otherwise you're gonna mess up your image, and it's not. The HDR does not work in every image. It works in some images. Let's show you. So as you can see, it doesn't look good at all when the HDR is on, but you can change that here in the selection and just go ahead and play with it a little bit. Put the method up, down, the compression, and you can make the image look good or awful. It depends on you how you use it. You can add those effects, but let's for example go for the presets here we have, and this one for example is like, damn, it's like painted. And which one I like most? For example, this one looks good, but it's too much. It almost hurts in my eyes. The black and white, for example, this one. Now, you can go with this one and just say, I don't want it that black. You just go to the saturation over here and just give it a little bit color, and then change the temperature. See, then you already got a nice effect here, and you can change that on color. I think the one I had, this one is very cool. And let's see if we can fix a little bit of the stuff here. Let's focus not on her breasts. It's just because the middle, and it automatically focuses on that. It is not willingly, it's making that. Okay. Now we got a little bit more defined here, as you can see on the arms. It defines it very much. Here in this one you can actually see the details. We add a little bit more occurrence, a bit less. Now it's very too shiny, just too shiny. Now we can go ahead and play with this a little bit here and zoom out. So as you can see, the HDR is useful, but it can also ruin your image if you're not knowing what you're doing. You always have to play around. Sometimes it works for you and other people doesn't like it. It's too much, and you, for example, this one is cool. As you can see, you can fill up the details of the jacket and make it look more realistic. The HDR is a very useful tool, but I use the HDR mostly if I add one effect and then another. I will show you in a second after I explain you the other effects. Okay, this is the HDR. Let's go to the sharpener. The sharpener is a very useful tool, but you have to know how to use it. For example, it sharpens the image. It does exactly what it says it do. The problem is, you can see it's just too much here. For example, you should not use the sharpener like always. You can put the syringe down here and it doesn't make it sharp, but sometimes you won't just sharpen one part. For example, let's go to brush. Now in this method, now you open the selective tool here and you should go and paint. Now what you have here, this here, the size, now it's painting sharpness. So let's for example go here. Okay, her face. As you can see, her face is already, it's not needing a sharpness. It has even some grain here and pixels around. You should even use a different kind of tool of this. For example, you want to resort this and focus a little bit. The opacity is in 100%. If you put this down, the sharpener isn't that strong. You have to treat this as a pencil. And now you're practically painting sharpness on this place. Let's see what happens if I paint in 100. Do you notice some different here? Because I don't surely know it. Let's go to paint. It's in the 100%. And you know, a little, but not too much. Probably if you paint too much of this sharpness, it's noticeable. It doesn't make it better. It sometimes do if you want to like show some time of clothes and you want to show it just as you can see here down in the image. You see this is the zone, the black one. Let's go to apply. The black zone over here and close this is the zone you painted. It's your mask, alright, and that mask in white is what you painted, and you can actually adjust that here and put the intensity up or down or fader as well. That is very useful. Always not, but many times I think it's very useful to, let's say, look the pistol a bit more rough and more details. So for now I'm gonna leave this out, but I'm sure you're gonna use this tool, and sometimes I give you the option of using it by showing that to you. And there we are. Now let's go to the next tool. Let's see, Nik Collection. We got another one, the raw sharpener and the output sharpener. I will not show you that one because it's almost the same as the other one. I will show you the silver effect. It's a nice one and you can use it very cool stuff, okay? This is one, for example, who makes the image black and white, and that's all it does. But there's something you can use, a cool option, for example. You want the image black and white, and I use this effect to... This one is cool. Well, let's see the other one. Too much, too less. This one is a nice one. Let's see if we can add a little bit more structure to it. The brightness. A bit less, a little bit more contrast. Too much. Like this. This is cool. I can live with that. Now let's go ahead and apply it. And the Nik Collection automatically goes and gives you the opportunity to have two layers here. So we have one layer in and another one. That gives you the opportunity to actually change something and make it look very good. For example, you can use now on the silver effect the eraser here, and now you can go ahead and put this here and this pencil, because it's not so strong, make it a little bigger and go out the window. There we go. Now when you go ahead now and erase this here, you can see it shows the color behind because it erases this layer here, and you see the color because it shows the layer of this color here. So in this case you can go ahead and paint, for example, the hair blue. You do not paint it, the only thing you do is just erase what you have here, and in this order you just leave only one part of the color showing. If you want to be a bit less, you just go ahead and paint like this, because you have tiny images over here, and problem is you have to be very careful where you paint, because you could end up painting something you don't want to. Like this here. Now this is showing, and it's it isn't this color again. So let's see how we fix this. Probably by painting less, or you can go ahead and try to, I don't know if this works because I never did it, but you can try to overpaint it. No, definitely not in this way. I mean, in the color not, but probably you can use the stamper tool here, this one, and then put the size down, and then you paint over it like this. Yeah, but that wouldn't work in everything else. Probably you have to mask this out in order to get this right, because it takes a long time for me in order to paint something like this, because you really have to go manually here and use the erase tool and just go ahead and paint. This is in 50, let's put it in 100. Just go ahead and paint the different places here. And this is exactly why I spent many times in front of the computer editing an image, but you get the point. You get the point. You can paint the image like this and make the hair look blue and the rest is black and white. So this makes a cool effect. There's another way in order to do this, is making a mask. That being, you can mask things and then painting them back again. For example, this is the silver effect. Let's for example say I erase the silver effect, alright, and I want to make this mint mask. You go to here and go to here, select this, open this, and go to no, actually it's more easy than I thought. You have to go down here, there we go, and go to black and white. Alright, now the image is black and white, and you can adjust this like you want, and now you have a black and white and you have a mask. Now in order to erase stuff, I think you have to paint white or black. There was one color I saw it once. Let's see if I paint black what it does. Ah yeah, that was it. Let's go back. So now in order to make actually the same effect, you go on, you paint black in front of this, and what it does is erase it. It erases my mask slowly, and you can get rid of it. So you actually use the same effect I did, only with different methods. So you don't need the filter in order to do this. Actually, Photoshop allows you already to do it. Alright, let's go and erase this and erase the black and white thingy because we don't need it. There we go. Now there's another method. Now let's go to something else. The silver effect and the viveza. The viveza is an effect you already have in Photoshop by your stuff. Only this effect supposed to be a bit cooler or better, I don't know. I don't use it much really. Like the viveza, what it does, it allows you to adjust the what it just says, the life in the image, and you can adjust this. But as I say, this effect you already have in adjustments, vibrance. The vibrance is almost the same as the viveza. It's almost the same. It doesn't have too much, but you can compensate that by adjusting gamma, adjusting contrast, adjusting brightness, whatever you want. And also I have to point out that Photoshop itself, without any plugin and anything, has an HDR, and using this is the HDR turning. So you already have the options here in order to make your own HDR image here in Photoshop by itself, using the details as you can see. But I found out it doesn't have the same result as the one I use in the plugin. And also the plugin is more easy. It gives you the presets and it gives you way more options in order to actually do it. You have the local adaptation, you have the histogram, I don't know what that do. You have the highlight compression, don't know either what does that, and the export and gamma. This will only let you select the gamma and the exposure. So you have that in Photoshop as well. So if you don't have installed the plugins, you can use that right away. Alright, let's go to something else. I pretty much explained everything here we need to know. Let's go to analog effects. Loading. Alright, I don't remember which effect I used in my image, so I tried to replicate that in some sort. I probably used some of those here, but I adjusted it. Probably this one maybe, or that one, I don't know. How about this one? This looks more like it would be the one I used. Let's go to neutral. I changed the dirt. Yeah, but I used the first one. I didn't want too much dirt here anyway, so I used this one here. I remember that well. For example, we use this one now, and go to okay. Okay, let's go to the HDR now. HDR. I think that was the right word I was searching. Alright, being like this. Now we have practically almost the same effect. We can just play around here a little bit. Is the edge pressure, the contrast, the whites. Also the strength of the effect. 0 the compression. A bit less, a bit little more. Let's see the temperature. Yeah, that was more like this. It's very similar to what I did. It is not almost the same, but it's very similar. As you can see, it wasn't that difficult at all to do this. You just have to know what you're doing, and sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just go in there, do it, and say, hey, it turns out good. Well, let's go with it then. I'm not just like, okay, this is my method and I use it always. I have to say I have fixed methods, and some filters I use more often than others. But for certain ideas, you have to just go ahead and experiment yourself to find out what's your flow, what you want, and if you're happy with it, well, you're happy with it then. So it's no big secret here at all. You just need to push a lot of those tiny adjustment buttons here and just mix up the whole thing, and let's see what turns out. Let's apply this effect, and there we go. Okay, what do I do normally in images when they're done? First of all, now I write them because I put my insignia on this. And how do I do this? Well, it's easy. Just plain text here, and then I choose one of my letters here. I call those things again fonts. Yeah, fonts. I don't know why they call them fonts. Well, I choose one of my fonts and just write here Stone Clone, so it's SC. It's my insignia, but it does look really plain, so you have the SC here, and that's why I use many of these things. It's styles. The styles I download as well and find many. They're free, others cost a little bit of money, but you can get tons of them. As you can see, there are many styles here. And for example, I got the Tony Blue now, and it's now Tony Blue. The most what I use is because, for example, this is an old one. Let's go to the rusted effect here and choose one of those. It makes the style look a little bit more, see, rusty. Now I got my logo on here. The style is very useful in order to get your image done. You got SC on this. Now I named, for example, the model. I named this one 2000. What was it? 98 was it? Let's think. What the heck is that? Probably not the right letter. Let's see. This one maybe. Oh, yeah, this is acceptable. That looks good. I mean, the other one does as well. See, and now we have a style who looks actually almost like it belongs there. And now that's all I do. And for uploading images on Facebook, I mostly scale them down because my line isn't that fast, and I don't need an image who weighs 5 MB. I upload the 5 up to 10 MB images on my DeviantArt account, so always when you check those, you're gonna see that the images are gonna be bigger in size, and you can download the original size there with no problem. I'm gonna link. I always have a link in my description down, as you can see. So In that link I have the DeviantArt account of me, and I'm not always, I have to say, not always uploading every image I upload in my DeviantArt account as well. For example, I have two accounts. I have my Stone clone and I have Sexy clone. I created Sexy clone in order to separate my animation work from my female modeling and sexy woman stuff. I didn't want to mix that up, because I want to try to keep my Stone clone account about only one theme, that being tutorials and serious animations, or even if they're funny, it doesn't matter. I didn't want to show boobs everywhere in my Stone clone account, so I created Sexy clone so that people who are searching for sexy ladies off of DAS or iClone or whatever have exactly this there. And actually it turned out that my first I created my page of Sexy clone. I had in 1 week only, more likes than I made in 1 year on my Stone clone account. So yeah, I guess a pair of breasts sell a lot, and if you make serious animation work, the people are not that impressed. But hey, that's how life is. I didn't mean to be offensive to anybody about this. I mean, this is something I observed what happened to my different kinds of accounts. It is like it is what it is. Let's just say it. Anyway, now you have this image and you save it and you're done. That's easy as this. I don't have anything else more to add to this, because there's nothing more here. I mean, probably there's more tutorials I can show about texturing and editing textures, but this is about editing my image and make it look cool. So there we go. Finished. I hope this tutorial is helpful and I was not just blabbering all around this place and you know, you don't remember anything I said, or probably you more disoriented than I am. Anyway, also what I wanted to point out is in the text down here, this text here, you can actually edit a little bit more. But I can see the effects are already existing here. You can edit every effect you want by yourself. You can go ahead and create your own style. As you can see, this is this thing I loaded in. You can go ahead here right now and create a new style. You can even add your own I think you can add your own textures to that and create your own style, so it's not so difficult. For example, the shadow, I like to work with the shadows in my styles and spread the shadow a little bit, so you can make sure your image is a little bit more, see, you can see it a little bit more, and the size is like it's covering the whole up part. Depends how you like it, so you can just directly turn it off. It's your choice. Anyway, you have a lot of adjustments to work with, and the styles are very cool. You can even make cool textures, and you can even apply styles to geometries. For example, an image, and you can load a style on it, and it looks like a cool style. Anyway, I stopped this tutorial here because I explained what I wanted to explain, the filters and how I edit my images, and I got nothing more to say here. So make sure to visit my Facebook page in order to see what I upload if you move around many times in Facebook. Otherwise, just subscribe to my channel and you see the new stuff I actually gonna share. The only thing I point out that in my Facebook page I'm more active and I share images and short videos there as well, in order to just because not every video I will upload on my YouTube channel, because there are many short videos there who are not worth it. Anyway, this is just how I go. I finished my tutorial here now, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit about Photoshop and editing here, and I guess I'm gonna see you or talk to you in the next tutorial, and bye, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.